Well, if you were to ask me about 4 years ago if I ever thought we'd be in this position, I would be lying because how could we ever have predicted the Doom Patrol show that started on DC Universe, an app that no longer exists, would be on its fourth season? It's unreal to think about. It is really unreal to think about. But here we are. We are doing weekly reviews for season 4 of Doom Patrol. I needed to talk about this show some more just because it's the best show to ever exist. It is. It is really incredible. We have such an honest, accurate depiction of the Doom Patrol characters on television for the fourth season. Because it's such a niche comic book that they're taking inspiration from that it's so weird, like, it's made it this far. Now, is this going to be the last season? Probably because of everything going on at Warner Bros. Discovery and DC and Gunn and Shafran shaking everything up. But we should appreciate how far we've come, because it's impressive. Of course, there is going to be more going on this season that takes inspiration from different comic book runs, but the fact that we are still here is impressive to me. It makes me happy, so I had to talk about this show. We are in our fourth year, and things are still the same, but they're a little bit different because now our heroes are actually trying to be superheroes. Like, we literally open up this season. We'll be doing the first 2 episodes, by the way. We're opening up this season with Woman leading the team. She gives everybody the code names you know from the books. It's kind of cute. It's a fun little moment. It's called Cyborg. There's Negative Man, Crazy Jane, Robotman, and Dogshit McGivens, of course, because that's what we're calling Madame Rouge. And we're just going to be superheroes for a minute, and that's kind of fun. And we understand this through, like, Dr. Harrison, who is one of the alternates inside of Jane's mind, or Kay's mind, I should say. And she is, like, pretty much analyzing the entire team she's with. So we analyze what they are capable of doing through a fight with Codpiece. That's right. Before we got to a proper Batman and a proper Superman in a DC extended universe, we got Codpiece, a guy that fires big lasers from his dick. And they make that battle hard to watch because they're a bad team. Nobody is capable of doing anything. Rita tries to take charge, does kind of okay. Vic has to stay back and be the tech guy because he doesn't have his powers anymore. Then you see everybody kind of tries to fight him until Dr. H at the end gets him to talk down. It's really fun. Cliff tries to flank, freezes up because of his joints. It's very funny. We see Larry tries to swoop in for a kill, falls flat on his face, and that's very fun. And while that's going on, you have, like, Dr. H's, like, narration explaining to us all, like, the problems with everybody. Cliff's just an idiot simpleton. Larry has self-loathing and, like, attachment issues. Rita is, like, a classic narcissist with, like, a certain type of personality. And you just see there's a sociopath inside of Rouge. Like, every one of them is messed up and bad. And you have, like, some PTSD stuff going on with Vic and Rita, and it's like, that's kind of fun. It's a really cool area to explore, and you're like, that's it. Like, yeah, of course, you don't have to do, like, a whole episode on Codpiece. He's just a joke character for one scene. It's really funny and smart. And I just want to say this before we continue on down the rabbit hole. Isn't it nice to see that Matt Bomer and Brendan Fraser are still doing this? Like, 4 seasons, those guys could be doing other work, but the fact they're still here committed is very telling and very cool, very true to their characters. I love to see it. I also love that their body doubles are giving actual credits in the credits now. That's really fun, because they deserve it. They're there every episode. Very cool. It's all just incredibly well casted and well acted. Everything is so strong. You got to give all the props to Diane Guerrero for being able to shift between the emotions so well and just present in such a unique way each time. But you think that's going to be what this episode is. Actually, what happens is Vic and his father build a new arm for Cliff, and it has the sensation of touch, so he's able to feel things through nerves or whatever, just help his brain understand, like, what feelings are. So they want to do some experiments, but he's like, no. If I'm going to touch something for the first time in decades, I want to touch my grandson. So what he wants to do is take the time machine, which they form-fitted using jellyfish to keep their minds in the head of the robot he used to be inside of, and they're going to go to Florida so he can touch his grandson. Everyone's like, let's do it. Let's go do that and have fun. But when they enter the time machine to be 5 minutes in Florida, they get lost in time and end up in the far future of 2042, 20 years from the point they are now. And I'm like, that's really fun. What happened in 2042? The butt apocalypse happened. Zombie butts took over the world and killed everything. Yep, that's what we're doing. Don't forget what you're watching, folks. They can do some serious melodrama where Larry is having a crisis of losing another child, where Vic is having attachment issues of not knowing what he's supposed to be, where Rita is afraid of what she could become and has nothing left to live for except telling people what to do, and it breaks her to heart that nobody wants to listen to her. But don't forget the butts are going to take over the world. Don't forget that. Just keep that in the back of your mind while we go on this adventure. So we go to the future. Vic is one of the last humans left alive. He's got like some steampunk cyborg armor on, a crossbow that comes out of his arm. It's freaking sick. But don't forget, this is all about people having a crisis, so we have to talk to the dead ghosts of all the other Doom Patrol members and realize something went wrong that killed them. Cliff's ghost won't tell him. He's like, you don't want to know, bro. You don't want to know. Larry's got separated from Keeg and is having a crisis. And Keeg meets the adult version of him in the negative form and starts to have like a panic attack and won't talk to Larry about it in the present. You see that Rita's like, I was never a good leader. Nobody wanted to listen to me. Everything sucks. And Kay's version, which is Dr. H, is like, you were so focused on studying these lunatics that you didn't help the girl. You're like, whoa. Again, same problems we face almost every season with these characters, but it makes so much sense that they still go through these emotions. I cannot get over how perfectly cast this show is. Because there's specific moments you're watching, like, I cannot believe they're doing Robotman right. I cannot believe April Bowlby is doing such a stunning job with Rita. Like, that is such a hard character to get right because it feels like it's so out of time, but she finds a way to make it perfect, and she's so beautiful and fun. My goodness, do I love it. This is a really strong first episode to give us the crux of the season. The idea is we're going to be going back in time to figure out what it was we have to do. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. We fucked up, the world got blown up, we have to deal with it. Makes sense to me. We can deal with that, we can get through it. Future Vic wants to come back in time and fix it because he knows how to stop it, but he can't make it back because the butts attack and everybody gets the present day Vic to go back in time and do the right thing. But Future Vic carves onto the side of the time machine, you can have it all. Just like, oh, what does that mean? What does that have to do with anything? It could mean anything. It could go in any direction. We don't know yet. It's something crazy. Very cool. And like, yeah, this is a future episode for these characters. It makes sense. You'd expect to see like an older version of some of them other than Vic, but no, they all died. Perfectly makes sense to me. Perfectly makes sense. I really do like that. We also see that Kay has been maybe impersonating Dr. H for most of this, and when Jane sees that, she kind of freaks out and reveals herself. It makes Jane the primary again, and you're like, okay, very fun, getting back to basics here. So where's H? What's going on? And that leads into stuff going on in the next episode, which we'll get to with Kay and all of that. And again, they didn't really learn a lesson, but the plot did move forward enough where we could advance the story, advance the characters, where they're doing new things, learning new stuff. Shot beautifully, well written, well executed, just a simple story that works on every conceivable level. I love the narrative directions we're taking with all these characters this year, which just only plays better in the second episode that we're going to talk about. But before we get there, there is kind of like a post-credit scene or an ending scene with Willoughby. That's right, we got Willoughby back. And he is like, oh, Immortus. Shit. That's it. Just, oh, Immortus? Oh, shit. And I'm like, wait, isn't Immortus Kang in the future? Isn't that that's a different universe, isn't it? I can't remember. So there's an Immortus coming. Immortus will rise. I'll have to look up what that character is, but it's very exciting. Very cool. A very strong first episode to get us back into this world. It was cool. It was fun. I laughed a lot. I smiled a lot. I'm still blown away that all of these characters are represented so accurately on screen. It's the best Cyborg we're probably ever going to see because he's having a crisis of who he is every episode. And he starts texting his old friends, maybe trying to get back into that world. Very cool. But in the second episode, we see the team kind of has like a plan formulating. The first thing is maybe Rita shouldn't be the team leader, which I love. I don't know why I loved it so much, just seeing April in this episode, just taking charge, just looking beautiful, just being like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to find where the zombie butts originated. It's probably when we were all zombies, and then we fought them when we were zombies in the last season, so we'll have to go find Darren Jones. Also, we should find a more uniform color for our team. They're all like, shut up, we're not doing that. I don't think you should be team leader. Nobody really wants her to lead. Who do they want? Madame Rouge for some reason. So her plan is, well, let's rest for a minute and then go kill Darren Jones. But secretly, what she actually does is she takes Cliff and they go kill him on their own. And then the team splits off into like 3 separate stories, which again, it's very cool and fun. So the Cliff and Rouge story is very cool. They go to kill Darren. They find like a car parked on the side of the road. Oh, it was a 74 Gran Torino or something. And basically it's Cliff like, somebody left this piece of beauty on the side of the road. I could fix it up easy, but he doesn't want to get like his hand touching something that isn't his grandson first, because that would be a waste. Why would he waste like this one gift on something like that? So it's very fun, right? I like that. They go on the mission. They find Darren Jones. He's still a zombie. And he's like, oh, I've given up the zombie life. All I want to do is farm my tomatoes, and maybe there's some butts out there. I don't really know. All I know is I don't want to be a zombie anymore. But he sees Cliff is like, okay, since you're here, I knew this day was going to come. You have to kill me. I'm accepting my fate. And Cliff's like, what the fuck? I don't want to kill an innocent guy. I thought we were going to have like a fight and like a sparring match or something. I don't want to kill you. So Rouge has a great idea. She's going to remove the bike helmet from Cliff's head so Darren smells brains, and then he's going to attack him and fight. And in the process of that fight, the oven mitt that Cliff was wearing to block his hand from touching anything but his grandson slips off when he crushes Darren's skull in. So the first, such beautiful writing. The first sensation that Cliff feels is himself crushing a man's skull. And you're like, holy shit, that is amazing. Pretty much the antithesis of everything he wanted to do. And it messes him up. He's like, oh, great. The first thing I feel in years is a man's head collapsing from my touch. And you're like, whoa. That's so Doom Patrol-y. Oh, I love that so much. I just love the way that feels. And everything is just good with them. There is like a smaller story with Larry and Rita. Larry is chasing Keeg around the building. He's hiding from him for some reason. And her and Rita, and then him and Rita kind of get into like a little bit of a match. Like, why didn't you back me up in there saying you didn't want me as team leader? And Larry kind of lays into it. He's like, well, you're not very good at this. You are more demanding we do things as opposed to asking for our help. And you stopped doing this for the right reasons a long time ago. I don't have anything left. And they both just kind of say that. I don't have anything left. The last thing I had was leading. You took that away from me. The last thing I have left is Keeg. And he doesn't want to talk to me. 2 self-pitying people. It's like, yeah, that is Doom Patrol. Look, they can't get their shit together. They kind of reunite at the end. It's very nice. Very nice. And you just feel like there's something going on with Keeg that he's not saying to anybody. And that's kind of interesting. Where's that going to go? Where's that going to go? We have to ask the question, who's to say where that could end up? But what is Vic and Jane doing? Because Jane's back in primary. They have a moment where Vic does some research online. He talks to somebody from the ant farm, and he's like, well, we have a tracker who caught a zombie butt, and we're going to intercept before it gets back to the Bureau of Normalcy. And in that little moment, Vic talks about what role he wants to play, who he wants to be, and all of that. It's very positive, very good. And Jane also learns about the interview conducted by Vic for Kay, and Kay reveals in that interview that she wants to keep them all safe inside of her own mind, but she's grown up. And they need to find new ways to help her and to help themselves. She wants to help them. They want to help her. And that means finding a new role. Well, Jane was there to keep her safe and protect her. Maybe Jane needs to find a new role inside the mind as a primary. And you're like, that's a really strong change in shit, because it's Kay admitting, like, I've done everything I could. I feel like I'm okay, but I also don't want everyone here to collapse. And I feel like if we keep Jane around, things will be okay for me. So she needs to find a new way to fit into all of this. And that's kind of a cool moment. It's a very positive ending for that character's arc where it's like, yeah, this is where we need to go now. Wonder what that's going to look like. Very strong, very formative, very mature, which is a really cool thing to see. But they do intercept the message from the Butt Hunter, which it's been a minute. Is that the same actor that's Beard Hunter? It looks like him. Maybe it's like an actor that's supposed to look like him. I can't remember if it is Beard Hunter or not, but he's the Butt Hunter. He finds the butt. He has it cryogenically frozen in like a weird vat. They do intercept it. When they bring it back to the house, you see that they want Cliff to kill it, and he hesitates because he killed something and he actually felt it, which makes it more real for him. And now he doesn't know if he can kill it, and his Parkinson's start to shake up again. And you're like, whoa, okay. Getting a little crazy here, aren't we? Oh, a little too on the nose of some of this creepy shit they're dealing with. But it's a very strong episode, you know? Splitting up the groups like that, it works to make some fun moments where they learn lessons, have enjoyable moments, learning who they want to be, what they want to do. Vic kind of seeing if he deserves to have peace or if he just wants to keep going down this route. It does look like he's going to talk to his friends or at least meet them in one scene. Maybe he's going to realize he doesn't want that anymore and he's going to come back to being who he is. Madame Rouge is going to stay because in the future she was missing and nobody knew where she was. So if she stays with the group, maybe then things could change and the future will play out differently. Very cool. It's all working incredibly well. Everything is firing on all cylinders again. You're like, this is Doom Patrol. They managed to make it work again. They managed to find a way to make Doom Patrol strong and positive and creative and awesome with accurate characters and a story that is so compelling and fun. They're doing it right every time. I don't understand that. There is a couple of like flashbacks to a doctor, what's her name? Dr. Yo, who is somebody who's brought in to intercept and help out the Butts. And there's two of them that become like the lead Butts. Oh, it's Teddy and Nicholas. And she has Nicholas with her and keeps him safe, and they like talk and they have fun. They sing Shapoopy for some reason. It's so cute and silly, and I'm like, this is it, man. Just fighting evil Butts that are zombies. That's great. What more could you ask for? Ah, it's so cool. And Space Case is coming this season. Like, hell yeah. What else are we doing here? We see that Mentallos are back on store shelves, so you can buy your Flex Mentallo cereal. It's great. This is it, man. This is the future I wanted for so long. Doom Patrol's strong and fun and awesome and doing the right thing. So, back on all cylinders, baby. Doom Patrol Season 4. We made it this far. Let's see how far we can go. Thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.